Okay. Try to get the torch on. Alright. So today, boys and girls, we got an edlebrock that I tore down yesterday trying to make a video of. Unfortunately, the files got corrupted, which really sucked. But basically, I'm going to be showing you in this video the differences of an edlebrock and a Holley, because I've got to rebuild both of these. I've also got a video on the motorhome starting that did not turn out too well. So anyway, basically what you have here is you have your edlebrock. This is an AVS air valve secondary, which is supposed to be like more like a quadrijet from a Chevrolet or Rochester, whatever you want to say. This is what the top of it looks like. Let's see, edlebrock. Got your choke, got your air valve. In a normal AFB edlebrock, which this is just a parts one, so please don't mind the mess. This is your air valves, which operate under the venturis, which honestly is probably a little bit better system. But that carburetor seemed to run pretty good until it didn't. Which, this one, if you look in there, I've already stuck the new needles in to make sure they fit with the old seats, because the new seats wouldn't hold. See if we can shoot down in there. You see the screen? There's screens at the end of the seats. The new seats wouldn't hold the screens. So I knew the old needles was bad, so I just stuck new needles in the old seats, which should seal fine. Let's test that theory, actually. Yeah, they're sealing fine. So, the next part, you see there's no venturis in this carburetor. Right here is that one. That's because I took them out. Like I said, with an edlebrock, it's more of a complicated disassembly and reassembly and cleanup process. You have your venturi systems like these. These are your front venturis. These are your rear venturis. Now, here's where we get into a little bit of a dilemma. You see that little plate there on the end? If it'll focus. That little plate on the end was knocked out of the other venturi that come out of this carburetor, which meant it was not second guess. It was more than likely a air leak. So I pulled this out of the parts carburetor. That's bad, huh? But here's the kicker. If you look right here, this is the equivalent to your power valve in your Holley. Is your drop rods. One of the drop rods were broken completely off inside of this carburetor, so it meant that one side of the carburetor wasn't getting fuel to the secondaries at all. So this carburetor is not ungodly, just destroyed on the inside or anything. It's got a little dirt built up here and there. There was a big old pile there. I mean, down in where the jets goes, you see the dirt in there. Just needs a mild little cleanup. Dirt in there. Same over here. That's what happens when you live on a dirt road or a dusty driveway. I get it all polished back up, cleaned up, and put back together. So on these, you have to remember, especially if you've got the air flap below the venturis like that one, which you can see this is set up for, but you can run either style, I guess, but cuts down production costs. But my thing is, you can set those in wrong. So always remember that if you're doing an AFB edlebrock. But you unscrew the venturis, you unscrew the front venturis, you unscrew the accelerator pump nozzle there. I mean, it comes apart, and you could probably clean it a little better than a Holley, but honestly, in my experience, I've had much better luck rebuilding Holleys and making them work than I have edlebrocks. There's one in that cabinet right there that I just cannot make run to save my life. It'll run, but it just don't run right. And the 600 I have on the motorhome is pretty bad. It's bad. I guess I'm gonna have to go through it again because there was a dirt dauber nest inside the fuel line and I didn't know it. So I'm assuming that part of that dirt dauber nest got inside my carburetor and pretty much boned me on inside that carburetor being clean and the needles not getting stuck, because I think the needles are getting stuck open and it flooded the motor home like crazy. Like I said, I've got the video on my dad's phone. If I can get it downloaded onto my phone so I can edit it, I will. So next I'm gonna tear into that. This is the third of the 750s that I have. I've been inside two of them. I can't remember if I made a video when I went inside the first one, but there's the edlebrock rebuild kit, which that'll have to wait till tomorrow because it's been a long day, tiring day, and I really ain't done much of this. I haven't in the last few days. So let me break the bowl screws loose and all that good fun stuff and see what it looks like. Oh, excuse me. This one actually kind of looks like it's been through a fire or something. So let me tear it apart and see. So you know how I said this carburetor looked like it might have been through a fire? Well, I might have found out why. I ain't even cracked this one open yet, people. This screw. Let's see. Oh God. I think I might have found out why it was in a fire. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh. I don't know what happened here, but it appears that I didn't have no pieces fall out. That's strange. Huh. So I guess I'm gonna have to crack that loose and see what I got under there. And it's looking more and more like this one went through a fire. But it's almost the cleanest on the inside yet. This might be the one to rebuild. So let's see how far the float goes up. It should not be up that far. Well, that led me to think I had a broken off needle valve. But apparently what I have here is because I already pulled this out. This is why I know. Is a severely misadjusted needle valve. So I imagine it was about to the point that it was spitting gas out of the top of the carburetor, which is why it looks like it was on fire. So all I can do is keep digging into it and try to figure out the mystery of why. And the only thing that leads me to it is I've seen this kind of soot damage before. But okay, back to our comparison. Hey, your floats and seats are integral to your top on your edlebrock, as are your needles and your drop rods. Holley has float balls that are hung off of the front and the back, and Holley jets are there, where edlebrocks are down in the abyss, down there and there. Yeah, this is not bad. I can clean this one up a whole lot easier than I can clean the other ones up. Sorry guys, I get sidetracked really easy. So, let's see if we can pull the meter and block off. Nope. Stuck pretty stiff. So, let me see if I can see the jet numbers on here. I want to see if somebody tried to jet the carburetor or something. Jet numbers. What is that, 74? Let's see if I can pop this gasket out of the way. 72. That could be a 72. If that's the case, this is 72. That being the case, doesn't look like this carburetor was ever jetted up. And that does not want to break loose. Dang. Okay, yeah, we'll deal with that later then. It's not abundantly. Ooh, that power valve was stuck. So, not abundantly important. I pull it apart. Okay, I'll come back to you. Let me pull the back bowl off. So, further evidence that somebody messed up. Look at it. Would you just look at it? It's a completely different type of float. Looks like somebody attempted to rebuild it. Did not know what they were doing. Set the floats completely wrong. And caught their engine on fire. Probably pushed the carburetor off to the side. Blamed the poor little carburetor that could. And put it on a shelf. Yeah, you see where the level of fuel was. It's only supposed to be down here. Ain't that a shame? There's a saying that I'm gonna say. I don't care if you like it or not. But poor little Tink Tink, ain't that a bitch? Both of them. Severely misadjusted. That's surprising. But this person got somebody to do their carburetor work from then on. See that soot? This carburetor was on a fire. And I'm pretty sure the carburetor was the reason of the fire. Alright. So, I'm going to pop this metering plate off. And see what it looks like under it. If it looks okay, then I guess this is going to be the easier one to rebuild. So, stay tuned. Okay, I don't have a small enough flathead in the house to break these loose, so I'm going to let it ride tonight. And this is probably more than likely going to be the carburetor I rebuild, because somebody just really sucked at rebuilding carburetors and killed the poor thing. Let's see. Yeah, honestly, that don't look like it has much contact wear other than what I've been playing with it. So, that's what I'm guessing. Somebody had the floats really severely misadjusted. That one goes all the way to the roof. And, it floated over and it caught fire. which is a severe hazard when dealing with carburation, people. Fuel injection is no different when you have a fuel leak with it. Carburation is less forgiving though, because when it leaks from something like this, you have that big a stream of gas shooting out of both of these holes at the same time. And if you're in the car or don't know what you're doing, a fire will happen very shortly thereafter. So, okay. So, I guess I know what I'm going to do now. Rebuild both of these carburetors and order a kit for the other two 750s. And actually, I've got enough for 2 kits right now. Or 2 carburetors, sorry. Enough gaskets out of 3 kits that I've got left over for 2 carburetors. Anyway, y'all have a good night. And I'm going to put this one back together. I'm going to stick the top on that one. I'm going to stick the parts back in my drawer.